All right, and here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am. Oh, hi, Dawn. How are you? I got a little echo there. Sorry about that. So welcome. If
Thank
anybody
you.
joins us in the chat, please go ahead and say hello. I think we might have a couple people joining in right now, so
I'm
please say hello.
trying to open the chat here from that's why I'm looking away. So I'm not trying to be rude. Just
It's
trying to open
okay. It's okay.
I'm
And if
trying to
anybody
open the
hears
chat.
Angel over in the distance here, she is playing with a toy and she's being kind of loud. So I do apologize for that ahead of time. But I figured we would join, and I do apologize for not being on last week. It was kind of a rough week for me. And it was an overwhelm week for me with a lot of things going on. And so I figured we would talk a little bit about overwhelm. And I think it's something that a lot of us probably go through.
Yeah.
And I know I go through overwhelm
Mm-hmm.
quite easily.
Yeah.
And my story from last weekend is that I had a lot of things like emotionally going on, and then like work, and a lot of things like with selling and trying to with my business and trying to push forward and all of that, and then having a lot of things personally in my life going on. I just kind of hit a wall, and I just couldn't even bring myself to do the live last Monday. So let's talk a little bit about about that. And if anybody's in the if anybody's in the chat, please go ahead and talk about that. Talk about your experiences, or let me know that I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, thank you. So Dawn, give me your perspective on overwhelm.
So, when you say hit a wall, I think like that's such an appropriate term. I think it's an appropriate term, because I think there are moments, especially if you're running your own business, right? If you're running your own business, if you're running your own household, if you're female, right? If you find yourself in a mother role, find yourself in a wife role, find yourself, in any kind of relationship roles. I think we have a lot on us. And we're also in a place of creation and trying to build and trying to gain momentum in our businesses and in our lives, right? We're not just businesswomen. We have family members, we have pets, we have loved ones to consider as well. And so today was my hit the wall day. We talked a little bit about this even right before we came on, is that like this morning I had just an idea of what I wanted to create today. I had goals, I had things that I wanted to do. And as I started to move into as I started to move into the day, what I found is that like, it was just too much, and I wasn't creating from flow. I wasn't creating from joy. I was creating to get stuff done, but I wasn't creating from a place of positive momentum. And so I had to take a step back today. I literally was like, you know what? Maybe this is a day of introspection, and I don't know about you guys, but I like to pull tarot cards, and I pulled myself a little card, and I got the Four of Wands, and Four of Wands is all about, going into introspection and, resting and relaxing and looking for the core, roots to the things that you're feeling and, the values that you hold and, reevaluating the feelings. And so I did that. That's what I did today. Did we lose Leslie? Is she still here? Oh no, is it just me on here? Okay, so Leslie just messaged me. She says she thinks her internet went out. So I'm just going to keep talking for a little bit because I don't have control over the other side of it. So we'll see if she comes back on. I don't even know how that's going to work, if she does come back on or if she doesn't come back on. or she can come back on. Like, I have no idea this is gonna work. But as I was saying, I took the day and I actually allowed myself to just be. And I kind of, gained some there she is.
I'm
Yay.
back. My internet went out. Sorry. I've been having issues all day with these storms, so I apologize.
I got scared. I was like, I don't know what'll happen if she doesn't come back.
Sorry, what I missed. I'm glad that you could stay on when I couldn't. So good.
Yeah, it kept going. It did keep going. But I was like, I don't know what'll happen if she doesn't come back.
Yeah. My internet, well, I told you earlier, my internet was going out with these storms coming in. So sorry.
And then we have things like tech issues and storms.
Exactly. See, overwhelm, stress.
But I was just talking about, taking the day, and allowing myself to be. And, I think sometimes, like, when we hit that wall, there's an inner part of us that wants to make ourselves wrong for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something wrong with me, or this shouldn't be like this. But the truth is that we're all just human beings. Mm-hmm. We're all walking this earth, together. And sometimes stuff just comes up and it's just too much, and we need to take a step back.
Yeah. And
allowing ourselves to take that step back is a really healthy thing to do when you're in a state of like, it's really healthy to allow yourself to just take a step back and begin to reprocess what's going on and get to the core of what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. I know that, I was feeling that overwhelm, and, one of the things that I know that I need to do is allow myself those days, because I tend to put these, I guess, like these goals on myself. Mm-hmm. And I say, like, I need to produce X amount per day, or I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then I can relax, or I need to do, 1, 2, 3, and then I can take a break or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then if I don't do it, and then it's like I punish myself.
Yeah.
And we all know that, like, there's days like you can't always have the sales that you want to have, or you can't always have the days that you think you should have. And I got to get past that point where it's like, I can't punish myself for not having
I didn't meet my financial goals this week. I did not meet my what I wanted to make this week. I didn't meet it. And so that was one of the reasons why and here's a really good thought I want to kind of expand on, which is one of the reasons why I started to make the goals that I made. Mm-hmm. It's because I didn't meet my financial goals this week, and tomorrow is the day, like the 8th is the day that these goals should be met and everything should come through, and it didn't happen, or it hasn't happened yet. And so out of fear, I started to create these momentous kind of goals, and like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And then everything just crashed down. And it was so that I could actually meet the fear of not meeting the goals, right? So I could release the control of not meeting the goals. So exactly know what you're talking about. So that was a big part of the introspection that I had to go through today. But I will say this, like, I think the key to overthinking and understanding the overthinking, or not the overwhelm, is to understand that the overwhelm comes from overthinking. And where does the overthinking come from?
Probably the inner dialogue, and the over analyzing, and
here's a clue, right? So, like,
turn off your mind.
We only fear what we don't know.
Right.
We can only fear what we don't know, right? So, like, when we're in an overwhelm and an overthinking state, it's because we're attached to fear. Again,
Mhm.
Fear is not this ugly big word that we all have to run away from and hide away from. Like, everybody has fears, right? But what happens is, like, the overthinking stems from fear, and fear of what is not known yet. So, like, a lot of times when we find ourselves in overwhelm, it's because we got this pile of stuff to do.
Mhm.
We have the pile of stuff that we have to achieve, and it's not been achieved yet. So
Right.
we're in the future, we're future
Exactly.
casting inside the mind, overthinking in our fear zones, you know what I mean? And that's what starts to create the panic and the anxiety and the
Mhm.
overwhelm kind of feeling. And so I really think this is like, when this happens, first of all, don't make yourself wrong for it.
Mhm.
We've got to be more compassionate and loving to the self. We've got to be more kinder to the self. You know, we're so kind to everybody else. We're compassionate to everybody else. And we don't give ourselves the same kind of love, you
Mhm.
know? And so, like, these things are going to happen. We just got to be kinder, more compassionate to ourselves, and then reel ourselves back into the now moment,
Right.
right? I am seeing some comments. I can't read them because my eyes are not fixated on the screen.
It's basically it's oh yeah, exactly. Give ourselves grace. Stephanie just says give ourselves
Yeah.
grace. It's so that's exactly what we need to do. And I have a hard time with that. Does
Mhm.
anybody else have a hard time with that? I mean, I'd love to hear if you I mean, who else has a hard time with this? I mean, who else struggles with being overwhelmed in their business or even in their day-to-day life? I mean, you don't even have to be a reseller.
Right.
Um I mean, I know like before my whole reselling career, even when I was, you know, working in the dental field, and even when I was
Mhm.
before the dental field, when I was working in banking, or when I was working as, you know, in visual merchandising and
Yeah.
in retail and all of that, like I easily, because I was a perfectionist and because I
Mhm.
was a, you know, I felt like I was so goal oriented.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly goal oriented
Mhm.
that I don't turn off. I don't
Right.
stop until I hit the
You're a
goals that
hustler.
I set out for myself
Mhm.
or that
You're
others
de-
set for me.
you're
So,
definitely a hustler. Yeah, you're definitely you hustle.
yeah,
For sure.
exactly. Yeah, Kristen, exactly. Too much to do, not enough hours in the day.
Mhm.
Oh, I feel this.
You know what's really interesting is, like, so I was feeling that this morning, Kristen, right? It was like, that's exactly what I was feeling. It's like, oh my God, you know, I set up all these goals for myself, and now I'm like faced with the fact that I can't get it all done
Mhm,
today.
mhm,
And one of the things that I remembered from my own training is that when we're in that state where it feels like, oh my God, I've got so much to do today, I can't get anything done. There's not enough hours in the day. Like, what am I going to do? Here's a really powerful kind of thing that we can do to step back from that and actually gain some clarity. And most of the time when I say this, people look at me and go, how do you expect me to do that? I've already told you I've got so much to do. How do you expect me to do this? But the thing is like, when you're in that state, if you will take a step back and do like what I call a mini visualization meditation, mini, it can actually help you to recenter here. And what happens is that once we start to dump all the excess, you know, garbage out of our brains, what begins to happen is we start to gain more clarity around our day. And we actually find that we actually can actually have a little bit more time and stretch in the day, believe it or not. Overthinking and energy of overthinking is one of the things that takes up so much of the day. We don't even realize it. So, one of the things that I like to do and what I did this morning was I sat outside. I grabbed a chair. I was like, I need to be outside in the air. Oh, we lost Leslie again. I'm going to keep going. I took my chair. I went outside. I sat down. I wanted to be outside with the earth, with the air. I wanted to feel the elements. It was a beautiful day. I sat down. I closed my eyes. I took a couple deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, very intentional kind of breaths. And then I opened my eyes. Just after a few breaths, I opened my eyes and I took a look all around me. Right? I took a look all around me and I kind of got a snapshot vision of what was happening all around me. And I was breathing in the nose, out the mouth as I was capturing the visuals that was in front of me. And when I did that, I closed my eyes again and I tried to recreate the image in my mind that I saw. Now, I don't know what happens with the brain when this happens, but I do know that it actually helps us to slow the thinking down, to refocus the energy, and move at a slower pace. Okay. I'm trying to see if I'm hearing anything from Leslie. Hopefully she'll be back. I think she's having some bad storms. All right. And I don't know, like her YouTube channel just went out. So are we still here? You guys, the YouTube portion for me on my laptop went out. And I don't know that I can actually see comments. Getting a little nervous here. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I'm back.
Okay, so my YouTube. Well,
I was
my
like ready to go to my cell data, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try again.
Well, I'm glad you're back because my YouTube went out on my laptop.
Okay,
so I was like, I couldn't see comments or anything.
It's got to be these storms. We'll see how long we can last.
Okay. Yeah. So I have no idea what anybody else is saying. I can't read anything right now, Leslie.
Oh, God. Okay, so Kristen just said the stars are on their way to her in New York. So I think that's the only one that we missed.
Okay, good.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Awful.
It's terrible. Okay, I think YouTube's trying to come back up. Hey, you know what? This is life.
Mm-hmm.
This is life. This is real. Can't get any more real than this, right? So I'm
telling you. Crazy. I know. And I was like I was going to try to upload a video to YouTube tonight and probably won't happen.
It's not looking like it's going to give you the grace and space to do that. Uh-oh.
And like Kristen says, like not too much to do, not enough hours in the day. And like, so like when something like my biggest fear is like internet going out and then that literally shuts me down.
Yes.
So like I'll be shut down.
Yes.
Completely.
Yes.
I don't even know. I mean, I guess, well, you know what? It will, if the internet goes down, it will give me the opportunity to list items on eBay because I can do that with my cell data easily.
Well, I was going to talk about those death piles, money piles, death piles,
Mm-hmm.
The more that they grow, the more overwhelming they can feel. Yeah. And that's again because we're future casting. Oh my God, I got all this stuff I got to do. I got all this stuff I got to post. Can't get it done. Can't get it done. Can't get it done. And the truth is, if we just kind of take it back to center and just like pick one thing up and do that one thing, it could be really, really helpful. But I was talking before you disappeared again about a little practice I use called a visualization meditation.
Mm-hmm.
A mini one. Meditation is one of those things, you guys, that like when we tap into it, our bandwidth expands. Mm-hmm. Our thinking bandwidth expands because we're dumping so much. We're releasing so many thoughts that just don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Just don't need to be there.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Did we lose Leslie again? All right, let's see if she comes back. All I see is a frozen image of Leslie right now. I don't know. And I'm trying to read the comments. You gotta laugh. Okay. Yeah, YouTube is being funny too on my end. So it's definitely affecting my connection here. And I don't know, she might want to go ahead and just like cancel this live. I don't know. I hope you guys are getting something out of it. Yeah. So she's saying maybe we should just do this. Let me see. Maybe we should just do this another time. Yeah, you guys. So, I don't know how we actually are going to be able to close this. I'm going to try. But she's in the text. She's like, I'm so sorry. Um, you know, these are things that we can't control. Nature. I'm gonna try to sign us off. So I'm gonna try to sign us off. I have no idea if I can do it, but I'm gonna try to sign us off. I do want to thank, everybody who was able to make it. I cannot see your comments. I'm so sorry for that. Her storms are affecting my YouTube connection to this live, which is just cray. So I'm going to sign us off. I'm going to try to sign us off. I don't know. We might have some faux pas there because I didn't start this. I'm not in her YouTube channel. We're in a streaming service. So you guys wish me luck. Thank you for being here. I hope what you got out of this was super helpful and would love to hear from you guys if it was. Again, thank you and have a great night.